Hi friends, another update on the Tallman Leslie here. I've got the rotors in now. First off, this is the upper horn rotor that I built a whole new platform for because I will be converting this to two-speed operation, and a two-speed motor stack, like you see on the later Leslies, is simply too tall for a 31H Leslie's original kind of motor driver arrangement that it's got. So what you have to do is you have to build a whole new platform that's higher to accommodate a two-speed motor stack. Here, I'll show you a two-speed motor stack. So you can see this is a two-speed stack. A single-speed motor, you know, the old Leslies have just, all they have is fast, and it's just one motor. It's this motor right here. But then when you've got two speeds, you add the slow motor here on the top, and it's a lot taller. It's about twice as tall. And so originally this Leslie, the motor for the upper rotor is mounted on a bracket right here on a spring, and then it goes over to a pedestal in the middle that the driver and the horn are mounted on, and it's about here in height, and it's simply just not tall enough to accommodate. And so what you do is you eliminate all that and you reconfigure it more like the later Leslies, where you have one platform that holds both the motor stack and the driver and the horn, and has the tensioner, the idler pulley, that this didn't have originally. Originally the tension was set by the motor bracket, which is on a spring, and it just kind of keeps a constant tension. So this setup allows you to have the clearance for the two-speed stack and have everything just kind of configured the way it would be for a later two-speed Leslie. It's much more elegant. It looks it looks a lot better than the original setup. So I cut these pieces here. Cut the motor hole. I've got the hole for the motor with the two mounting bolts here. The bolt for the tensioner, the idler. The hole for the driver and the horn. You can see there's the driver, the original Jensen Hypex V21 driver there, which still works and is not blown, thankfully. And I even stained the pieces to kind of match the rest of the cabinet so it doesn't look quite so, DIY. This, I dare say, almost looks factory. But getting everything to work together it takes some doing, the measuring to make sure that everything's kind of the right distance apart and fits together properly. It takes a lot of it looks like it's just three pieces of wood, but it's actually, there's quite a bit involved to make this all work the way it should. And it's fully serviceable. Everything here is removable. The screws for the top plate here go into the blocks. There's threaded inserts in the blocks. So they just screws right in there, and I'm not using wood screws. I'm using, machine screws that go into threaded inserts there, so no cheap, crappy wood screws. And then these blocks here are fastened to the shelf with two bolts there that go into threaded inserts inside the block. So everything's removable, everything's serviceable, it all works together well. So it takes some doing, and everything just works right, Horn works well, plenty of clearance on either side, nothing's tight, and so that's working well. And then I've also got the base rotor in. I redid and took apart and serviced and cleaned and repainted the mounting brackets here, painted them with a little gloss black Rust-Oleum. Redid the grommets for the bearings, so no rattling, no shaking, everything's nice and tight and rubber mounted and good. The bearings themselves seem to be good. They're packed with grease, they're not noisy. I haven't gotten the rotor up to full fast speed yet, so we'll see how it behaves when it's on fast as far as noise, but they seem to be free and they seem to be working well. So don't fix it if it ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So new bag for the rotor as well, new scrim cloth. The old one was ripped and dirty and torn, so new black scrim cloth there for the rotor, which eliminates noise, keeps the rotor quiet when it's on fast, less wind noise. So that's coming along as well. And I've also, I think, figured out how to do the motor arrangement for the base rotor too. So going back to this stack here, this bracket is what the motor for the base rotor for this Leslie was originally mounted on. And this would mount down here in the corner, and it would drive the rotor through the bottom. The pulley is on the bottom of the rotor. And so in order to make this work with a two-speed stack, what I've done is I've cut out the bracket to give it clearance for the whole motor, for the whole stack, you know, because again, you've got this slow motor on the top here that's kind of gets in the way of things. So I relieved the bracket here. I just cut it with a wheel, and I think it's going to be serviceable. I think we'll be able to make this bracket work with a 2-speed stack, which is good, because otherwise it would have been a whole lot of finagling to, you know, figure something else out. So I think that's going to work. So there you go. That's where we're at.